Hi everybody, this is part one of a three-part video where we'll be configuring an ESP32 microcontroller. We'll be installing Micropython on it. Let's move on to the next page. This is a 32U microcontroller. 32U has a special connector for an external antenna, which is my preference. There are many models to choose from for whatever fits your needs. Here are the links to the documentation and the download site for Micropython. Micropython requires a certain amount of storage space for installation, 256K of flash memory, and 16K of RAM minimum. And in this demo, we are going to be downloading Conda. I prefer to do as much work as possible in a virtual environment so I don't contaminate my main system. And when I'm done, I can just delete the virtual environment and remove all of those utility stuff or whatever from my system. We'll also be using the ESPTool to erase the microcontroller and to install Micropython. Of course, we need the Micropython download, and Thonny will be the IDE that we'll use to do any advanced programming after initial setup. So let's see, moving on, let's minimize this. Let's open our browser and let's begin downloading our software. So we'll take this link, put it in the browser, or this URL, put it in the browser, and begin the download of Conda. Up here you'll be able to see progress. I've done this before, so this is also Anaconda is also it also takes the longest amount of time to install. Once we kick off the installer for this, it'll take about 20 minutes to complete the installation, and we'll pause while that's happening and come back when it's done. When we get there, I'll let you know what's happening, and we have completed the install of Anaconda. Our next download will be Micropython. And we are going to download the latest version 1.21, which has just come out. It looks like it's just been released in the past couple days, or actually yesterday. And let's go ahead and download that bin file. It's complete. Next will be Thonny. And we will download the current Windows version of that, which will be this first one here, installer with 64-bit Python 3.10. And we're done. So we'll minimize this, and we will close this stuff out. Let's open up Windows Explorer. We have I have a staging area for my downloads on the desktop, downloads folder over here. What we're going to do is we are going to open up another Windows Explorer, go to our downloads folder where all of these were downloaded to. We'll cut them and paste them into the staging area or the downloads folder. Then we can close this. All right, now first step is to install Anaconda. and I'll run it as administrator. And for the most part, we'll accept the default settings for the installation. Yes. Next. Agree. I use just me. You can use either one. And the installation folder, default, let's see, and default here. And installation has begun. At this point, we're going to pause. This takes about 20 minutes to complete, and we will return when installation's done. And we're back. Installation is complete. Let's hit next. Next. Let's uncheck these because it pops up a bunch of stuff that we don't want to look at right now. You can in your own time. And finish. All right, our next step will be to configure our virtual environment. So we will need, we'll need a command line. But we'll do it from the command line. We've opened this up to to our home directory. There's an option to add Anaconda to your path on your system. It recommends not doing it because it can create issues with the system or other applications. So I didn't do it. So we have to cd into the installation directory, which is Anaconda 3. We'll do a list directory, and we will need to cd into conda bin. Was the directory, and conda.bat is the I guess executable that we use to do our configuration. So let's go ahead and create our new environment. So we'll type in conda create name, and we'll name this one ESPTool, since that's what we're going to be installing in this environment. And we will use Python 3.7 and hit enter. And it begins the process of creating the virtual environment, which shouldn't take too long. And hit yes or Y, enter. Wait for a few seconds while Python installs. Now it verifies and executes the transaction, and it should be complete any second now. And complete. Okay, so now we want to go into our virtual environment. We will type conda activate and then the name of our new environment. You can see on the left-hand side of that of the bottom line, ESPTool. That shows us that we have entered our virtual environment. Okay, our next step will be we're going to install ESPTool with pip. We need to make sure we have the current version of pip installed, so let me run that command, which is Python -tachyam pip install, and then upgrade pip. It may or may not be a current version. Okay, so it's updated the version of pip on the machine or in the environment. Our next step will be to install ESPTool. So we'll type pip install ESPTool, and this should successfully install the ESPTool. And there you go. Let's see. I wonder if I can get a version out of this just to show it's installed. No. I guess not. Let me see. Well, it's there because it's giving you the possible commands that you can use with the utility. All right, and we are finished with Conda. So to get out of this environment, we'll type Conda deactivate. That'll kick us back out to the main environment. All right, our next step will be to install Thonny. So I right click on it and then click run as administrator. Yes. Install for me only. That's fine. That's what I use. You don't have to do that, but that's what I use. Next, accept the agreement, accept the installation path folder. Click next, and we'll create the desktop icon and install. This shouldn't take that long. But we'll pause here for a second just in case. Okay, so installation is finished. Click finish, and done. We have the desktop icon or shortcut here. Let's open it just to see what it looks like. And there it is. And in version or in third video we'll actually use this, so we'll see more of it then. Go ahead and close this, and that concludes setting up our work environment to where we'll configure the ESP32 microcontroller. Stay tuned for part 2, which will be actually erasing and installing Micropython on the microcontroller using ESPTool. And then in the third video, we'll be doing a basic configuration and then configuring the microcontroller to connect to your Wi-Fi network. And I think that's it for now. All right, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 of this tutorial. Thank you.